So I'm definitely a big believer that each individual should run their own race. You can't run your parents' race, you have to, or your friend's race, it's your own race. Mezuo Nwuneli, I'm the managing partner of Sahel Capital. We're a agribusiness-focused private equity firm. We manage some capital for international investors, and we invest in food and agriculture across Nigeria. So it's been an interesting journey. So most of my 20-something year career has been in finance, and I've worked in oil and gas, in financial services, in telecoms. I've worked in the accounts department of a firm. I've done advisory work, investment banking work out of New York. And for me, the accumulation of those experiences, I think, led me to where I am today. And in 2009, I was in Senegal working with a private equity firm. And during the course of that experience, realized there's an opportunity in food and agriculture, but didn't know much about food and agriculture then. And 2010, decided to take the plunge to actually go into the space and start my own firm, and then have built since then. So the last 10 years has been food and agriculture, where I've learned quite a bit about the sector. But underpinning all of that is the corporate finance investment banking experience I've had throughout my career in different sectors. And I brought that lens to see how to build opportunities in the food and agriculture sector in a very structured fashion. So I'm a big believer in lifelong learning. I think it's very critical throughout our entire careers. We continually see how do we learn more and more about different sectors we're passionate about. And then to be attentive to whether you want to consider it your calling or where you feel you're being led, and not pay attention to paying school fees or this particular job and being worried about that, but trying to see what dreams do you have, where do you want your career path to go to, and how do you open yourself up to opportunities that could enable you to go down that path. And when I think of my own journey, I've made decisions at different points in time which have resulted in either working for periods with no salary. So when I first worked in private equity, the first 9 months helping set up the firm, I worked for 9 months without income, but I was, for many different reasons, but for me, it was a good learning experience to build experience into the space. When I left business school to move back to Nigeria, my first job was 20% what my class average was. But those decisions, those opportunities opened new doors for me and new experiences which helped to build to the growth that I have today. So just for each individual to pay attention to those opportunities that are out there and how do you broaden that perspective beyond what you're doing day to day, and be attentive. Because when you're attentive to those other opportunities, those other experiences, it could take you down a even more successful path, personally and professionally, than you'd ever thought about previously. For many investors, institutional investors, they say they want to invest in Nigeria. They have an allocation to invest in Nigeria. But because the heart of the economic activity is in and around Lagos, maybe Lagos Ogun State, the tendency is that either they're investing through the Nigerian Stock Exchange in Lagos, and the bulk of those companies are centered around Lagos, or they're doing private investments into companies headquartered here. And so you then look at Nigeria exposure, and the Nigeria exposure is really Lagos. Now, separate, of course, from maybe the products that are being distributed across Nigeria, but is Lagos exposure. And we always tell investors that based on what we do, we are truly a Nigeria investor, because we have presence and investments in companies in Kano, in Kogi, in Kwara, in Anambra. We have no investment in Lagos. And there's a thriving businesses in cities outside of Lagos. But you need to spend the energy and the time to go there, work with those, find those companies, and then build those companies. And for many, especially in the sector we're in, food and agriculture, to do food and agriculture well, you need to be in the rural areas and the smaller towns across Nigeria. You can't say you're doing food and agriculture and be based in Lagos. So the opportunities outside Lagos, we're very active outside Lagos. And even from broadening perspective, even for people looking for job opportunities, there are very good, attractive opportunities outside Lagos. Now, what's interesting is that for many of the companies that are in Niger State, in Kano, in Kogi, they're expatriate workers earning hard currency that are working in those states and are willing to move and work in those states. But it's harder to get Nigerian professionals to do the same. So it's just to broaden that perspective about where are the opportunities, what will your career path be like, and how do you build towards that?